What's up guys, Peppercrab here, and we're going to talk about Team Canada's rookies. Despite a massive overhaul in their roster, they're looking stronger than ever this year. This year's Team Canada marked the departure of many notable players, including Ryuke, Pikapone, Cut Paper, and others. All but 3 players on their roster this year are rookies. These rookies were high placers in Redlock, a Canadian tournament meant to look for OWC talent. Due to many unfamiliar names, everyone expected a downward trend from last year, predicting Canada to barely place in the top 8. But to everyone's surprise, they placed 4th above powerhouses like Germany, the UK, and South Korea. Along with the typical amazing performances by Zudinator and Xylus were the absolute showings of the rookies, already proving to be a threat even at OWC standards. One of the most notable rookies during qualifiers was Wandario, who was the winner of Redlock. He placed 25th overall and performed well in every mechanics-oriented map. Canada proved their placement to not be a fluke with their decisive victory against Germany, with the Canadian rookies taking turns being the frontrunners of each map. With this victory in their hand, they are bound for an amazing run in OWC, as well as a bright future for the Canadian OSU scene.
Welcome back, everyone, to the US World Cup 2025 semifinals. We're here for the very last match of the weekend and our second winners bracket semifinals matchup between Poland and Canada. Poland, the #1 seed out of qualifiers, looking to join the United States in that winners bracket finals and secure a top 3 berth for the first time since they last won the World Cup 8 years ago in 2017. Canada looking to find the upset, mark the first North America-only winners finals, and find their first top 3 finish since 2020, back when Azer was not an organizer but a captain for Team Canada. I'm Dio. I'm here joined by Dolan for our last match of the weekend. How's it going, man?
I'm very excited for this one. Winners bracket semifinal, high stakes. You've laid it out perfectly for us here, Dio. All the storylines, all the action, the new rookies for Canada is highlighted by that wonderful intro video, might we add. And we're ready to get into it. Who will join the United States? We already know the top 6 countries, as all the lower bracket action has wrapped up for the weekend. South Korea getting the nod, as well as Germany.
Yeah, this has been a pretty eventful weekend, honestly. The bracket has worked out in a really, really surprising way, I feel like. The teams that we expected to make the top 6 have definitely made it into the top 6, but there were some surprises in those first 2 losers bracket matches, so definitely on Team Canada. Just as an FYI, as we get into things, there's a couple of players on Canada that have some more well-known aliases that we may or may not refer to them by instead of their on-screen names. Namely, Nujabes is formerly and better known as TS Fury, Sparkly Fairy 200, formerly and better known as Birchman, and Steam Happy, formerly and better known as Plute. So if you see or hear us talking about any of those players by names that are not on the screen, that's who we're talking about in this match. And Poland really taking their time with this, but gonna go with the double time one. This is a really interesting first pick, I think, because it is basically just a super straightforward map. There have not been a lot of really tough team scores on this map. Most teams are getting 3 million plus team score. Out of the 12 plays on this map, 9 of them are above 3 million. So this is a map that's relatively high scoring. You're basically just challenging the opponent to a consistency test on double time overall with this map. This is something that's not super high AR. It is AR 8.7, so a little bit above that AR 10. Not super high BPM. It's about 234 BPM after double time on this one. And not super high OD either. It's about OD 10.1, which for a map like this is not super high, especially at this star rating. It is, however, Dolan, almost 4 minutes long after double time. Most DT picks you see, even in tournament, are under 3 minutes long. So this is a very, very long DT1 pick here for Poland. And really just a pure consistency test for the DT roster on both of these teams. And honestly, with how good Poland have looked, I get the pick, but Canada as well is a consistency-focused team. They have beaten teams like Germany just by out-consistencying them on maps like Remote Control last weekend. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a relatively close pick to start things off.
We'll have to see how it lines up. It's definitely a risky pick going into a consistency double time against Canada, but that just shows you how confident Poland are in their double time prowess. As we see the rosters for Canada complete, it's going to be Zylas, Zudinator, Pink Guy Fan, and Nujabes against Koibumi, Rafis, Malashevsky, and Evil Grape.
Another couple of name changes there on the Polish
point those
side
out too
as
while we're at it.
Hold on, let me just grab those as well. Koibumi 2000, formerly known as Milosh. You're going to expect to see him in on basically every map for Team Poland. He is one of their all-rounders and one of their best players. Evil Grape, better known as Shari Tori, originally from Ukraine, flag changed to Poland this year and made the team for the World Cup. On Team Ukraine, Shari Tori was an incredibly good all-rounder player and one of the reasons that they had so many upset wins when Ukraine was at their peak.
All right, we are up to speed. And here we go. Just in time to get into this match, Dio. Poland versus Canada. High stakes action. A spot on the podium at stake. And a date with the United States in winners finals.
And let's get into things. I think the only real surprise here is Zuninator in for this map. But honestly, Canada, this map is kind of a weird one for them because their DT roster is specialized into either aim DT or speed DT. And Zudinator would usually be subbed out if it's speed DT, but she's in for this one presumably because she can hit the aim and kind of mash through some of the bursts or deal with the 230 BPM, notably not a speed player. You can see it in the accuracy. Whereas everybody else in this roster for Canada makes a ton of sense here, and we'll just have to see if Zudinator can finish up with the combo game here on a map like this that does have a pretty significant speed component to it, though. A lot of players finding those misses on the aim instead. That's Rafis and Shari Tori both finding the breaks here for Poland. And oh my gosh.
Everyone is gone, and there was an early opening miss for Zylas, but now it matters not as Shari Tori goes once again. Canada going with 3 FCs, make it 2 as Pink Eye Fan finds the break, and one of the 2 FCs are holding, and now the only FC holding is Zudinator. Oh my goodness, Dio, what's happening on this timeline?
Yeah, this is not really what I was expecting. Again, Dolan, almost every team score on this has been 3 million plus from every team that's played this so far this weekend. More misses to come through from Rafits. It's Zudinator on the FC with 92%. That's an A rank FC. for anyone watching from home, Xylus on that reverse choke is the next best combo for them, but actually better overall score. Raph is finding another miss, just not really having a good time with comboing. This is during the double section, though, and that is massive. It's Malashevsky and Xylus with the biggest combos in the lobby. Malashevsky on the FC, slightly better accuracy, and a 70k score lead for Canada with almost matching supporting combos.
Dio, it seems like anything that could potentially happen has happened so far during this map, but now it's Malashevsky doing the work with Koibumi and Shari Tori, pulling that score lead back over. Xylus desperately trying to stop the advance of Poland, has some help from Pink Eye Fan and Nujabez as Zudi goes back to rebuilding with Rafis.
Yeah, and it seems like the accuracy for Zudinator is starting to hurt Canada here. The pretty much matching supporting combo not going to matter if you can't make good on it with that accuracy. But there go Rafis and Shari Tori once again. Still the matching FC and reverse choke for Malashevsky and Xylus respectively, but better supporting combo now for Canada. Pink Eye Fan, Nujabes, and Zudinator all still holding on to those combos from their last breaks. There goes Pink Eye Fan though. Koibumi 2000 Milosh still holding on to this big combo for Poland, but just about matched by TS Fury, Nujabes, and Zudinator on the side of Canada. As long as these combos remain, but there goes Xylus, there goes TS Fury, there goes Milosh, but Malashevsky left standing, the only FC in the lobby. Doland, the carry player for Poland, is out for blood today.
My goodness, the one player that needed to fall for Canada to clutch it up for sure did not fall, is now standing tall with less than a quarter of the map remaining. Canada's in shambles. They have no combo aside from 800 on Zudinator. And unless Malashevsky breaks, Dio, this is going Poland's way. But the way this map has gone, you just know that those breaks could come out at any moment. But it needs to come out now. Rafis is not the one.
Dolan, there's a massive spinner at the end here. This is getting a little bit much for the spinner to make the difference, but it is a very, very long spinner. And if Poland slack off on this spinner, or if they see some silly breaks here at the ending, it could maybe go back Canada's way. Pretty unlikely, though. At this point, 85k in favor of Poland. You're likely not to see it move that far in favor of Canada just from the spinner. It is coming over, but that's not going to be enough. It's going to be Poland taking it in the full combo from Malashevsky, closing it out in style. Not quite the best single score on that map of the weekend. We did see Taquito from the United States and Paper Candle from Norway both get above 1.2 million on that map, but damn close from Malashevsky, and a very good start to this match for Poland.
Look at these scores here, though. I mean, Rafis and Shari Tori definitely did struggle, coming in at just under 500k apiece. And you look at Canada, the lowest score is Pink Eye Fan at basically a 640. There's a 650 and another 650. I mean, these team scores for Canada are really well-rounded and consistent. And had a break come out from Malashevsky at any point, really, Canada would have been there to take that point.
Or on the flip side, if Xylus had been able to hold, right? If there had been one more big combo on Canada, they could have taken that. That was 73k. So that was an extremely close map. And neither team, I think, performing up to their own standard just by looking at the team scores that we've set. Those would be number 10 and 11 out of 14 scores on this map this weekend. So I think probably a bit of a low roll for both of those teams there, Dolan. As Poland so far this tournament really has been playing like the number one seed. They've been playing extremely well. And Canada, of course, to get here, they had to beat Germany. That's a tough opponent. As we now get into another AIM map, both these teams pretty good at everything, but do have their preferences. Poland with the DT here, Canada with the hidden. No surprise to see them pick into this with players like Zudinator and Wandirio on the team, both who love hidden aim. Problem for them is, you know who else loves hidden aim is Malashevsky, probably the single best tournament player in this lobby. I mean, there's a lot of really good tournament players in this lobby, but there's a clear king in this match, and Malashevsky's going to put up a very good score on this hidden one. Canada, realistically, with this pick is saying, okay, we know Malashevsky is going to do very well. We just think our supporting team, filled with a lot of hidden preference players, filled with a lot of pretty solid aim players, is going to be able to match and outdo the rest of the Polish roster. That's still a tough ask. You have Milosh, you have Nahus on this team, who are both very, very good hidden aim players. You're probably going to get Zudinator, Wandirio on the roster for Canada. Past that, there's a lot of variance that we could see for this Canadian team.
And it looks like they have chosen to go with the Xylus Yip duo to back up Zudi and Wandario. Still waiting on a fourth player for Poland. Could be Kosiarek coming in.
That's going to be both of the rosters for both of these teams. Let's see how this one goes. This one, another custom map for this round of the OS World Cup. Mapped by Camo. Strange Program, a classic song, a very, very well-known old map. And this one, if you haven't seen the storyboard, go maybe give it a watch or give it a play with no fail and the storyboard-enabled background down. Reminiscent of the very old Strange Program storyboard, but with a lot of modern twists to it. And that's kind of what goes on in this map as well. This is a much more modern take on a very, very old map in OS history.
Well, here we go, Dio. Canada's opening pick into Hidden. It's a mod that should favor them well. But can they stop the might of Malashevsky and company? And an opening miss here for Malashevsky. But again, if you're going to have a break, you'd rather it come at the very start or the very end, as Xylus, Zudiator, and Kosiarek and Yip all go down.
Yeah, these opening patterns, Dolan, they do not mess about, and there's a four-way now miss for Canada. Only Nahus to hold on to the FC out of the intro here. Everybody else in the lobby has broken. It's 7 misses across the board, and you can kind of see why. A lot of these game patterns are really, really awkward. There's a lot of very high spacing in this map. This has not been a high-scoring map this weekend at all. Best score of the weekend is just above 2 million team score, which is not all that high, all things considered. And this is precisely why there's just so many tough patterns. More misses to come out from Yip, Wandario, and Milosh, Koibumi 2000 on the side of Poland. Xylus also finding the miss there alongside Kosiarek, and now it's really just Nahus and Malashevsky holding onto these big combos. Nahus on the FC, Malashevsky on that reverse choke, and Poland off to the races, 100,000 score lead and climbing.
Looking really bleak already for Canada, as Malas and Nahus have stabilized quite nicely. Kosiarek will find a drop, but it will be far from enough for Canada to get back into this one as Xylus and Yip go down once again. Poland now locking in.
Yeah, and Dolan, honestly, as long as Nahus and Malashevsky keep holding together, there's just nothing that Canada can do about this, even if there are misses all the time coming out from Koibumi 2000 and Kosiarek, from Milosh and Kosiarek. There's just nothing Canada can do. They need some similarly big combos on their team holding for a while in order to even get close to matching those big combos for Poland. Wandario was one of them, but that back and forth section claims him. There goes Nahus. It is traded. That's the FC down now for Poland, and it's Malashevsky and Zudinator holding the biggest combos, but a huge 250k score lead already for Poland.
Essentially, the miss from Malashevsky and Kosiarek is going to have to come out quite, like right now, essentially. And Kosiarek has done a really good job here building that supporting combo, but Malashevsky is going to go down right there. But is there enough time? 250,000 score deal.
You said it, Dolan. It had to come basically right now. Well, there's the miss for Malashevsky. Kosiarek is still holding, and Canada is not putting up much support here for Zudinator. She has to carry this, and she is the only one with any combo on their team. Kosiarek, the only one with any combo for Poland now, coming into the ending very shortly here. It's still about 180k. I think if Kosiarek holds, it's not going to be enough. Zudinator needs to hold this. Kosiarek.
Is it going to be enough? Is there enough time for Zudi and company to pull this back? Can Xylus, Yip, and Wandario lock in? No, Zudinator is going to go down, unfortunately. Canada had a shot there, potentially. But the team performance from Poland is immaculate. It'll be 100k to close it out. And that's going to be a break point for Poland. 2-0.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate first pick for Canada. Break point there for Poland, as you said, Dolan, on Canada's first pick. And you know, these scores, these team scores don't seem super high on this. These are actually the number 3 and 4 team scores of the weekend out of 10 plays. The only team better than either of these two is South Korea, who famously was both AIM Demons and Hidden Demons, both last year and this year. Both of South Korea's plays are better than both of these, but These two teams better than anyone else on this map that have played it. So it's just a little unfortunate for Canada. Yeah, you beat pretty much everybody on the map, but one of the two teams you don't beat is Poland, and they're your opponents this match. So a loss by less than 100K on your first pick. It's a tough loss, but hopefully Canada able to rebound and find success soon, maybe on their second pick. For Poland, a very good start to the match. Up 2-0, up a breakpoint, consolidated already. From here, if you're Poland, you don't need to worry about breakpoints anymore. You just win your own picks, and you win the match without going to tiebreaker. Your top 3. Easy. At least in theory, it's easy, right? In practice, you still have to actually play the maps out and win them. And with both of these teams honestly having very similar strengths and weaknesses, that's a lot easier said than done. Poland, however, again, is the #1 seed out of qualifiers for a reason. They are the favorites in this match. You're expecting them to win this. And for Canada, it's really the pressure on them. Poland, at this point, already up that early break point, don't have as much pressure anymore. They can just focus on succeeding on their own picks and closing it out cleanly that way.
Now, what will their next step in that master plan be? It is going to be double time 2, an interesting strategy here, Dio. They go DT1 and DT2 into Canada, despite the fact that they banned DT4.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, about this pool, Dolan. This pool tricks you. Just because things are in the same mod combination doesn't mean they're actually related at all. That DT4 in this pool is a very, very different sort of map. It's circle size 9, which, for anyone wondering, there used to be a hard cap on circle size for ranked maps in OS. It used to be circle size 7. That circle size with Hard Rock is circle size 9. So that's an extremely high circle size, and understandably, a lot of teams have not really wanted to touch that because it can be very RNG. This map, in turn, is what you think of when you think of Double Time. It's a speedy map, it's high approach rate, it's just about 252 BPM, AR 10.3, almost OD 10, and pretty much speed and finger control through and through on this map. It's a very, very standard sort of DT speed pick here for Poland. And Canada, at this point, may start to get a little bit outscaled on the speed. They have had very good performances on speed thus far into the tournament. Players like Pink Eye Fan and TS Fury, also known as Nujabes, have been doing really well on speed for them, alongside Xylus, who's always been really solid at speed as kind of a rule of thumb. Sparkly Fairy 200, however, Birchman, he's been their 4th player on a lot of speed maps, is going to be the 4th player here, and has performed really well on speed thus far. But in the semifinals and later, 4-digit players, which is what Birchman is, tend to start to get skill capped a little bit on the mechanics picks. We'll see if that's the case here, or if he's able to keep up the very good performance he has had on these speed maps so far against Poland's speed roster, Milosz, Rafish, Malashevsky, and Shedis. Good luck to both teams into Poland's second pick, looking to go 3-0 to start this match.
And for Canada, this would be an enormous break point if they could take it and right the early wrong and get things pointed back in the right direction for them. It's a very short one compared to the last double time map we played. Every miss is going to be absolutely consequential here, Dio.
Definitely is. This is a very, very short map, as you expected double time as well. 1 minute and 34 seconds. Nothing like the super long marathon map we had in DT1. Rapis, the first one to go down. Pink Eye Fan now. A miss for Canada. Birchman next to fall, down at 91 accuracy. And the rest of Poland's roster looking very good. 3 FCs to 2 in their favor. Xylus and TS Fury, the only combos left. But there goes Xylus, and Canada now down to 1 FC already just within the first half of the map. And Poland still holding on to 3 FCs on Milosz, Malashevsky, and Shedis.
Canada are going to need to see some of those players get score capped right here, right now, at the halfway mark, but it's not happening, and as a result, you see the scoreboard take flight. Koibumi is going to drop, but that is far from enough to save Canada as Malashevsky and Shedis continue doing the Lord's work with some support from Rapis. Shedis will go. There goes Malashevsky, and now it is only Rapis. But there's no combo to be found on the side of Canada. 250 from Xylus, Dio.
Yeah, Nujabes had broken right before then as well. The accuracy for Canada, not all that great on this map, unfortunately. And despite the break there for Rapis, it's just not going to matter. Poland are going to absolutely crush Canada on this one. The DT1 looking not too bad for Canada, looking relatively close on that one. This time around, the DT2 not at all close. 857k in favor of Poland. Kind of flexing their muscles there, Dolan, saying, this is why we were picking that DT1. Don't you dare think of picking any speed into us in this match. And there's still actually quite a lot of speed left up, namely looking at that free mod 2 Entangle Knight, which is it's just a straight up 230 BPM stream practice map. Like, that is something out of the loved section that you genuinely would not see in ranked ever. And I think Poland are going to be pretty hard pressed to find something better than that if they want to keep picking into speed in this map pool.
I just want to point something out. We had Koibumi with an S rank, but came in 1,000 points behind the lone B rank of the lobby. I love Scorby too.
Yeah, I love Scorby too. It's a good time. That's just combo game. It's how it works. And now we're gonna get definitely a combo game map here. Hard Rock 1 for Canada, just picking straight into more aim, undeterred by the hidden 1 result, and going to pick into a relatively fast aim map. It's 255 BPM here for Fake Fake Fake. This is a pretty well-known just standalone map, not a custom. And there's not much else going on in this map, Dolan. This is one of very few isolated skill set maps in this pool. It's pretty much just pure speed aim with Hard Rock on. There's a lot of good aim players on this Canada roster. Unfortunately for them, also a lot of good aim players on Poland's roster. So this is another one of those where I'm expecting a similarly close result as we saw on the first 2 maps on both DT1 and Hidden 1, which are also those aim slots for their respective mods.
Quick check here on the match cost so far through the opening 3 maps. It is Malashevsky, not surprisingly, the top player in the lobby at a 1.664. But in second is Xylus, with Zudinator right behind, both at a 1.2. So that shows you the gap. It's just Malashevsky putting in so much work.
Yeah, I mean, that's a player who is in the conversation for, if not considered, the best tournament player in the world for quite some time. So it still is, honestly, at least in the conversation for best tournament player in the world. So no real surprises there. It just goes to show how much of a gap you can accrue, especially as the rounds go on, as the pools get harder. That solo carry potential from your best player starts to matter much, much more as you get later on into the tournament. Canada, also has something similar going on with Zudinator and Xylus, but the support for Poland has been a lot better so far in this match. We'll see if that continues to be the case. Canada definitely hoping it won't be, hoping that 2 of these new players, 2 of these rookies, TS Fury and Wandirio, Nujabes and Wandirio, can put up some very good scores on this Hard Rock 1 and help lead them to their first point in this match. No surprises in the rosters here for either of these teams. As we get into Hard Rock 1, a very, very early miss there for Kosirek, Xylus, and TS Fury alongside Wandirio, all finding these early misses. There goes Koibumi 2000 as well. Milosh also finding that drop. And Dolan, after that intro, I mean, this map comes out the gate swinging, but that's already 5 misses. Make that 6 as Nahus also finds a drop. It's just Zudinator and Malashevsky holding on to the FCs. Who else, really?
Yeah, I mean, well, Kosirek is a near FC, essentially is a full combo. Missed at like 10 combo in, I believe. But yeah, as you said, it comes out swinging, catching Xylus out there again, and that is going to start to swing things. Traded by Koibumi once again, but Nujabes is also going to follow it up. And now it's going to be a battle of supporting combo Dio. That has been the story of this match so far. Wandario is going to fall, and Poland is now going to stretch their legs and check out a little bit as Xylus also goes.
Man, Dolan, Zudinator cannot do it alone. Canada, we need some supporting combo from the rest of the field. Kosirek just on the reverse choke. 1 miss super early on, not even 30 combo behind an FC. Nahus finally finding a second miss, was about 100 combo behind that FC. And the supporting combo, as you said, for Poland, just that much better. But there goes Malashevsky. Now we finally have a state where maybe Zudinator can start to bring it back. But no, Kostirek's miss was actually Bancho. And so it's still a full combo to a reverse choke, not even 20 combo behind that FC mark for Kosirek. So it is still down to that supporting combo.
But there is still now a chance for Canada, at least. There's potential here. If Kosirek goes, Canada will immediately take over the combo advantage. And as now we get to a break, The Canadian players can look and see that Zoominator is single-handedly keeping them in this matchup, but the misses coming out right after the break favor Canada. Kosciuszek does fall, Dio, and here comes Canada with Zoominator leading the charge.
Yeah, this is exactly what you needed if you're rooting for Canada, is for Kosciuszek to get nervous right after that break, find the miss, but there goes Zoominator. But Dolan, the score has gone down to about 60k in favor of Poland. Koyabumi 2000, Milosz now the secondary carry for Poland, the biggest combo in the lobby at just over 400 combo. He has the opportunity to keep this on Poland's side, just has to hold on to this combo for a little bit, bring the score lead back up, and not choke some of these easier sections going into the last quarter, into the last chorus of this map.
Yeah, as you said, Zudi did cut that lead essentially in half, but now Koyabumi is building it right back up. And there it goes, Koyabumi, and essentially all of Poland fall in that flurry of trades, and now it's back on. The score margin immediately down to 50k, Dio. Here comes Canada with a quarter of the map left.
And there's more misses coming out just all over the place. Malashevsky and Nahu's both finding those misses, brings the score lead down to about 25k. The combos on Canada are still building. Nujabes, Zoominator, and Xylus, all with better combo than anyone on Poland. And for the first time this map, the score flips back to Canada. Xylus will find the trade alongside Wanderio and Nahus, but Kosciuszek finding another miss as well keeps this combo in favor of Canada. It's Nujabes and Zoominator holding on to these big combos for Canada, bringing the score to their side and potentially helping them win their first map of this match. Malashevsky and Milosz can only do so much here with these combos at the end of the map. They're just better for Canada here at the end, Dolan. And Zoominator just gapping the lobby, 700k, 99.7 accuracy. She is the aim queen, and she is the reason why Canada are able to win this map.
Well, let's also actually highlight Nujabes as well. I think also this couldn't have been done without Nujabez's big combo here, coming in with the second highest score in the lobby at 541, found that supporting combo when needed most, and finally gave Zoominator some help. And the second she had some help, Canada were able to sprint away with this point, Dio. And now Canada can breathe a sigh of relief. Something has gone their way, a point is on the board. They can relax now a little.
Yeah, absolutely. TS Fury score as well, as you said, Dolan, better than anyone from the side of Poland. But I just am still in a little bit of disbelief here. 4 100s, one miss for Zoominator on this map is that's an incredible score, man. That is ridiculous. She could very well have FC'd that, but wasn't meant to be this time around. And unfortunately for Canada, yeah, you win that map, but you're still down the break point. You're still down 3-1 here. So Poland should not be all that concerned, right? That was Canada's second pick and yet their first point on the board. Poland still, they don't have to worry about Canada winning their own picks. They just have to instead win their own picks, not give up a break point, and they will win the match without going to tiebreaker. This can still be a clean win from here for Poland. Canada, the pressure's on them to take a break point at some point. This Nomad 5 is a really interesting one, I think, because Poland have an extremely good reading roster, but there's also a couple of players on this Canadian team who not just are known for reading, but basically only play it for this roster. And the same goes for Poland. I talked about this a little bit before. You have a player like Have on Poland who has only ever played low AR for this roster. You have a player like Steam Happy, also known as Plute, who has only ever played low AR and hidden specifically for Canada, but who will probably come in for a map like this AR7 low AR reading test. Players like Yip as well for Canada, very, very focused on Nomad reading in particular, as well as, of course, somebody like Malashevsky, one of the best low AR reading tournament players in the game. So this is a really interesting pick. I think on paper you favor Poland, just because they have a couple of more players that I feel like are going to be solid on this reading map, and some of the reading players are stronger. For example, Malashevsky, right? But this is definitely a map where Canada has a fighting chance at taking a break point. So Poland, still some pressure here, still have to hold on to that extra break point that they have right now.
And as you said, when the teams that are playing have that kind of similar skill set overlap, you know, there's a limited number of safe picks. You run out of them very early, and we're getting into essentially the third round of picking for both of these teams. And you see going into this low AR, actually, Canada, they have their roster ready before Poland on their own pick.
see how this goes for them. Honey Dip there, another name change. That's Have from Team Poland. So many name changes
Love my
in this
job.
roster, Dolan. I don't know, man. I can't keep track. Even I can't keep track.
We gotta get a form, a spreadsheet. Azer! Azer!
Oh my god. I actually need a spreadsheet to keep track of all of these. If I weren't Canadian, if I hadn't hosted a Canadian tournament before this, I would not know half the people on Canada, and I certainly there's 4 different name changes in this lobby alone, Dolan. I'm losing it.
The show must go on. And here we go, AR7. We're gonna figure it out with you, chat. Just bear with us. Many early misses here at the start, but that's to be expected when you are switching up to an approach rate of this nature.
Yeah, and honestly, the breaks more for Poland than for Canada. There's finally one for Canada. It's on their captain, Xylus. He finds the first one, but there goes Have. Is matched by Flute, Steam Happy as well for Canada. So now 2 FCs to 1, but the reverse choke for Evil Grape, also known as Sharitori, and the reverse choke for Koibumi 2000, also known as Milosh. Both holding strong here, so better combo overall for Poland. And there goes Wandirio's FC. Now it's just Yip for Canada. He's matched by not Malachevsky anymore. Malachevsky finding the break there, and a third of the way in Dolan. It is just a fiesta. Everybody finding breaks. Koibumi and Evil Grape also dropping, and now the combo lead back to Canada. It's a delayed 4-way reset for Poland, as Yip still holding on to the lone FC in the lobby. Flute, Steam Happy on this big recovery combo, the next best combo in the lobby as well. There goes Yip. It's just trades. There goes Flute also. It's all over the place. Xylus and Koibumi now matching. Support overall a little bit better for Poland, but this score lead is just flipping back and forth all over the place as many more misses come out all over. But it's a 4-way reset for Canada. Xylus and Wandirio both dropping, in Koibumi, Honey Dip, and Evil Grape all still holding these big combos on the Wiggle stream.
Yeah, the combo is finally starting to cement something amid chaos here. My lord, what was the past 30 seconds of that map even? But it's going to result now in a huge margin for Poland, and if the drops don't come out, Canada is going to be locked out of this pick very quickly.
Yeah, and I fear, unfortunately, Canada is pretty much already locked out. That's a 200,000 score lead. There's just not that much map left stolen. Even if there's a 4-way reset for Poland right now, I don't think it's going to matter. As, in fact, more misses come out for Canada instead. And it was a valiant effort during the middle of the map. They kept it close there for a long time. Tons of back and forth misses, but Poland are going to clutch it out easily into the ending here with tons of big combos. This is actually a ridiculous ending performance for Poland. They really have found their footing. That is a huge, huge buff for them.
My goodness. I mean, through all the chaos, right, everything we were witnessing, Dio, in the midst of that map, in the middle section, I never in my wildest dreams would have said, yeah, this is going to be a 600k score gap.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No way.
That was really something else. I think further encapsulating that, Poland actually getting the #1 team score on that Nomad 5 for the weekend. Now, granted, it has only been played once before, but the competition for that #1 score is still pretty steep because it's Team South Korea who has the #1 score on that. Poland beating them out by about 1,000 points. So that is a really solid pick there for Poland. And honestly, I thought we were just going to get the Fremont 2 next pick for Poland after double picking DT. You probably just go into more speed, but Poland switch it up, go into the reading, and are rewarded for it. And now Canada, your 1 points on Hard Rock aim, maybe you go for the Nomad 1, maybe you go for something a little bit more stream focused in the Fremont 1. But you're sure as hell not picking into the Fremont 2, and you're not picking into that Hidden 2. Those two skill sets, the speed and the reading, are off limits for now. And instead, they go for Nomad 4. After banning out the Hard Rock 3, the other dedicated tech pick in this pool, they go for the Nomad tech pick. This is a bit of a stream tech pick, Desert by Hakushi Hasegawa, mapped by Halgo. And Dolan, Canada has a really good tech team. They have a lot of very good tech players on their roster. You look at Zudinator in particular. You look at Wandirio in particular. You're looking at Yip as well as an extremely good tech player on this team. the problem for them, again, is the threat of Malashevsky, who you expect to FC a map like this. And that kind of score makes it really, really tough to outdo the rest of the team combo on a map like this in particular. We'll see if they're able to do it. They were on the Hard Rock 1, and for a while there on the Nomad 5, it was looking close, but Canada, pressure is on here to actually convert on this pick. Not only because you're facing off against Malashevsky on a tech map, but also if you lose this pick, you're down 5-1. It's match point for Poland. They have next pick. So this is an extremely important point for Canada to win.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head right there, Dio. That's what's at stake. It's everything. The momentum of this match is at stake here. They can convert this point and potentially get a break point off of Poland's next pick. Then you're looking at a 4-3 game. But if you give up yet another break point here, go down 5-1, stare down the barrel of match point, Poland to pick, even if you get that break point, Dio, then you're staring at a 5-2 game, and mentally, you've got to win 4 in a row. Oh, looks like we are getting some technical issues.
Oh.
Or somebody had something
Probably a misclick on the ready button there from Kosturek. Not quite ready, maybe changing out the skin or something like that. But looks like we should be good to go now.
Yeah. Luckily for Kosturek, this match is in the hands of top-tier, goated official Yazzie.
Yeah,
I think we've all been there,
around
Dio,
for
as a tournament player. You know, you've been playing a tournament and you put on the wrong skin.
Yeah, keep on the high AR DT skin or the low AR reading skin when I'm back to Nomad, and suddenly I need to import. So it happens. Unfortunately, not going to help out on the intro here for Kosturek. Does find the first miss of the lobby, but it's not quite fit the combo into the map. Not going to matter all that much. Koibumi 2000, Milosh also finding an early miss here for Poland, alongside Evil Grape, Shari Tori. So that's actually 3 resets already for Poland here on the intro. This is another map, Dolan, where, I mean, just look at the patterns. It's not pulling any punches out of the gate, but that's quite a lot of early misses for Poland, and a good advantage here at the start, at least in terms of combo, for Team Canada.
Yeah, I mean, only really Xylas struggling in terms of the accuracy. Still, combo gaming is best with 97%. But things looking really good for Canada on the start here. It's only Malashevsky for Poland, and if that is the line that continues to remain true for this map, Dio, that's what Canada are probably playing towards. As long as we can outperform the other 3 Polish players, we can do this, and a miss does come out from Koibumi.
Matched by Zudinator slightly before that, so one of those full combos down for Canada now. There's a miss from Kosturek as well on the side of Poland. It's matched by a second miss here from Zudinator, but that's not who you want to see matching that miss if you're from Poland, if you're rooting for them on this map. It's the extra combos there. Wandirio now, a delayed match there from Canada. Evil Grape and Malashevsky for Poland, Xylas and Yip for Canada with the big combos, 2 FCs to 1, but the extra support from Koibumi 2000 from Milosh there in the top left corner for Poland, doing a little bit more work, keeping the score lead right around that 60k. It's been here since basically the start of the map, Dolan. I mean, this has not really budged pretty much for half of the map at this point. It has been incredibly close between these two teams so far, and I mean, in a slow section like this, you're expecting it to stay close. You're not expecting any misses for any of these players as we come now into the second half of the map.
It's a slight combo advantage for Poland, but being negated by the accuracy of Canada. But you see Poland are slowly starting to pull it back to 60k, but the miss from Kosturek will probably change things. Traded by Wandario. But Koibumi also falls, and that was a larger supporting combo. It's traded by Xylas, Zudinator, and Yip go! There's nothing on Canada! And now it's Shari Tori and Malashevsky.
And this is the fear if you were rooting for Canada on this pick, Dolan, is that Malashevsky would just do Malashevsky things and FC this map no problem, or at least top score by a decent margin. That's what he's looking to do. An unknown fear has now made its way into the hearts of Canadian fans, though. Evil Grape, showing why they're in fact named the Evil One as they continue to FC or reverse choke this map for Poland, holding this combo, and now the score lead balloons from 60k for Canada up to 250k for Poland. A 300,000 score swing and climbing with the FC and the reverse choke still intact. And Canada now, even a miracle would not save this map. They would need a 4-way break, and they might need somebody to DC or stop playing going into the ending here. That is how big this score lead has gotten. That is how small the combos are for Canada right now. This map already over. It's just a matter of style points here for Poland.
And they're going to put quite a few of those on the board. Shari Tori will give up the large combo, but there's still one player carrying on with an insane score here. You know him, you love him, the one, the only, the GOAT, Malashevsky. And we'll see if it's enough for an absolutely insane score. 99.56% full combo from Malashevsky, 982,000.
Well, that's pretty much exactly what we talked about before the map started, Doland, right? Is that you expect Malashevsky to FC this map with pretty good act. That's exactly what he did. Doesn't make it any less impressive. You look around at the rest of the lobby, you see 666k for Evil Grape living up to the name there.
I was about to say, that's actually crazy. that is actually the most insane score. That's crazier than Mollis's score, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a little bit on the nose right there.
When you see it, just took on a whole nother meaning.
Really. And then unfortunately for Canada, right, their entire team has nobody scoring higher than either of those players. Yip, the next best for them at just under 650k with the one slider break, but you know, you need somebody to match, and there just wasn't anyone able to do so on Team Canada. That's why they lose that pick. And so now you're down 5-1. The nightmare scenario has come true, right? You're losing that pick. You're now down 5-1. It's match point for Poland. They have the next pick. And Dolan, they're not going to go with low AR reading in the Hidden 2. They're not going to go with speed in the Fremont 3. They're going to take their win on tech and roll with it into another tech map. Girl Hell 1999, mapped by Fentanyl. What a name, truly. This is a bit lower BPM, kinda alt aim control, finger control tech. It's a little bit different from the last one we had, which was a lot more focused on the flow aim patterns, on the stream shapes and spacing changes. This one a lot more on the finger control, on snappy high BPM alt patterns as opposed to flowy stream patterns like on the last map. And still a lot of slider tech here. Very funny thing with this map, it's actually CS 2.5, a very low circle size. Means big circles for anyone who gets those confused all the time. I know that's a very common thing. Lower circle size is big circles. So a lot of players have been over-modding this. We've seen a lot of preference hard rocks and hidden hard rocks on this map throughout the weekend. See if that's the case here in Poland. I mean, they've gone through multiple different skill sets here. They found a win on DT aim and finger control. They found a win on speed. They found a win on low AR reading. They found a win on tech, and they're looking to close it out now with another win on that alt tech finger control map here in the Fremont 3.
See if they can do it in style here. Canada are going to need essentially a reverse sweep now to stave off elimination from the winner's bracket. 5 consecutive points. It's not impossible, Dio, but it is highly improbable.
Yeah, a comeback down 5-1 for Canada would be a pretty legendary upset comeback run for them. You'd have to win 5 in a row, as you said, one of those being the tiebreaker as the last map. Has to start here. It's going to start somewhere. It's got to start here, but this is a very scary roster to be staring down on this pick. Malashevsky, Milosh, and Nahus, who play basically every map for Poland, alongside Evil Grape, also known as Shari Tori, who, you know, we saw it on the last map on that Nomad 4. Very, very good tech player alongside Malashevsky for this team. No surprise to see them in again here. Xylus, Zudinator, Wandirio in for basically every map for Canada. Yip, the tech specialist here, hoping for a better result on this Fremont 3 pick as opposed to what we saw on the Nomad 4 pick, hoping to stay in the winner's bracket one more map.
And for Poland, Dio, the stakes right here of this next point are absolutely monumental. It's been a long time for Poland since they've been in the top 3.
2017, the last time that Poland was in that top 3. Also the last time they won the OS World Cup, their one win ever. It's been 8 years since Poland has been top 3. They're looking to join that top 3 once again here with this map. Nahus and Sharitori, actually just Sharitori, finding that early break. Bancho on Nahus. Yep, Wandirio, Evil Grape, Nahus, all finding breaks here. But I'll have to pause a little bit on some of these breaks just because this is definitely a map that Bancho is not super fond of. All these really fast sliders, all these slider streams make Bancho very unhappy. Xylus and Koibumi both finding those breaks here. Any Bancho misses, it doesn't look like it. There's just breaks all over the place, Dolan, but it's Zudinator and Malashevsky amidst the chaos to hold on. And there goes Zudinator. Now just Malashevsky on the hard rock with the full combo for Poland.
It's the same old story. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Put Malas in on whatever mods he wants and watch him go.
And look at the accuracy too. 99 for Malashevsky on this is just absurd, truly. You can look at the rest of the lobby to see that as well. The next best act in the lobby is not quite 97% from Xylus and Wandirio, both of them on the no mod, which is of course OD9. Malashevsky on the OD10 with Hard Rock, still holding 99% accuracy right now. The combo is building back up for Canada though, Dolan. More misses from Koibumi and Evil Grape, and this overmod for Poland may be starting to look a little precarious as Canada's no mod players recovering quite nicely.
Indeed, I was about to note that, the only thing that Canada has going for them is time left in the map. It's the fact that it's a long map and we're still at the halfway mark, and a lot of these players are finding themselves score capped, and if Malashevsky were to miss here within the next 30 seconds or so, that would be the best possible scenario for Canada.
See if that miss comes through soon. It's gonna need to come basically now as 3 misses come through for Canada. Xylus, Wandirio, and Yip all finding those breaks. But meanwhile, across the aisle, it's the support for Poland who've built back up during the same section. Nahus, Evil Grape, Koibumi, all holding these big combos again for Poland. And Zudi not able to match Malashevsky, only able to match Nahus on that bigger combo, that recovery. Malashevsky on an unchecked Hard Rock full combo with, right now, the best act of the weekend on this map. There goes Zudinator. That's the one big combo left for Canada.
Do it.
And that's it. That's the match, Dolan. GG, Poland 6-1 over Canada. Let's see the style points at the end here for Malashevsky.
It's going to be a return to glory of absolutely monumental fashion here for Poland. For the first time since 2017, are going to clinch a podium position in this tournament. They will advance to the winners finals to face the United States. The top 2 seeds will clash in winners finals. And Canada, they will try their hand in finals week next week in the lower bracket. And they will hope to lay claim to the last of those 3 remaining podium positions. But Dio, he's still doing a thing, Dio. He's still going.
He's still going, Dolan, and this is just kind of absurd here from Malashevsky. I just want to see exactly how ridiculous this score ends up being. We're here at the end of the map now. This is going to hopefully calm down a little bit, and Malashevsky maybe is actually going to gain AC here at the ending. Can he hit 99? No, drops 100 there at the ending as somebody leaves early there from Poland, but we will still get to see exactly the score there from Malashevsky. That is going to be not only top score of the map, Dolan, not only top Hard Rock AC by about 0.5%, but also the single best accuracy of the weekend, even among no mod and hidden players for Malashevsky on that free mod 3. Poland winning against Canada in very convincing fashion. Wins on aim, wins on speed, wins on reading, wins on tech, wins on basically everything you could pick in the pool for Poland. That is your #1 seed in the US World Cup.
And the final match costs come out. Malashevsky, your MVP, with a match cost of 2.243. Second best player in the lobby, Zudinator, with a 1.6 even. The gap over 0.6 on match cost. Insane stuff from Malashevsky, Dio. As you noted, simply put, the best tournament player that there is.
Yeah, I think there's There's, of course, a conversation around that with a couple other people, namely players like Worst HR player, who unfortunately is not playing this year, Emrek, who is, but Malashevsky in this match and potentially in the winners semifinals, looking like the best there was this weekend. Played 7 maps, all 7 for Poland here. Top scored in the lobby 3 of those 7 maps, so top scored almost half the maps he played. Top scored, of course, at least that one free mod 3 of the weekend. I'm not sure about any others. We can maybe check that a little later. Surely this no mod 4 play was a top score of the weekend, though. 982k on that map. I'll just check that real quick. Yeah, that is the top score by a good 130k for Malashevsky, the only FC of the weekend as well. Just a ridiculous performance there from him, but from Poland as well. You know, we talk a lot about Malashevsky, but the supporting players for Poland actually ended up mattering quite a lot in this match. The 700k from Koibumi on DT1, players like Nahus as well, players like Shedis getting the top score on the DT2, helping Poland to actually win that pick, right? These wins don't happen without that support, and so of course you also have to shout them out as well. Unfortunately, that means Canada down in the losers bracket to face off against South Korea next weekend, with the winner of that match facing off against the winner of Australia versus Germany. The top 6 from qualifiers into the top 6 of the tournament, Doland.
Man, oh man, what a weekend. And that's going to conclude one of the wildest, craziest weekends. And you might have noted on that bracket before the transition that we had Russia and New Zealand reaching top 8 in the World Cup this weekend, concluding one of the most remarkable tournament runs that I think we've seen in quite some time for a lower seed. They came out of the qualifiers at seed 16, if I remember correctly here.
Yes, they were seed 16 out of the qualifiers. That run for them is definitely very good. They overperformed their seeding by a full 2 stages. So that is a pretty incredible run for them. Of course, unfortunately, had to end somewhere, and it did end there in the top 8. The number 2 and number 1 seeds into the winners finals here, Poland versus USA for that winners finals. Both of them guaranteed a top 3 finish, guaranteed a podium spot and a profile badge for all of their players already. And of course, out of the 4 teams in losers bracket, only one of them can join that top 3 for the losers bracket finals during the Grands weekend. This next weekend, though, the finals, gonna be a good one. I'm really looking forward to winners finals. I'm really looking forward to a lot of those matchups in the losers bracket as well. Korea versus Canada, gonna be very good. Australia versus Germany, those 2 teams very similar in composition as well. Should be a very, very good match between those 2. Doland, that's it for the semifinals weekend. We've got a couple of housekeeping items. We need everyone in chat to go eat banners, first of all.
Yes.
If you haven't got a banner on your profile yet, you still can. Still on sale in the O store. You can support your favorite teams from the World Cup. And if you do have the banner for the winning team on your profile at the end of the OS World Cup 2025, it'll stay there until the OS World Cup 2026. And Doland, I think there's one thing left for this weekend. It's not a match, but something else. We need a map pool next weekend in the finals for these teams to face off on.
That we do, very much so. Well, Dio, it's official. We've concluded our semifinals weekend. The 6 tickets have been booked. We're going to business week in finals week and grand finals week. This is it. The business end, I guess you would call it, right?
Absolutely.
It's been a long day.
It's the end of the World Cup, right? This is where champions are made. This is where history is formed for these teams. And so these teams in the top 6, they need a map pool to play on. We're going to get started with that very shortly. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Congrats once again to Poland on the top 3 finish. Good luck to Canada, who have made it once more into the top 6 this year. Thank you to Doland for casting alongside me. We'll be back very shortly with the OS World Cup 2025 Finals Map Pool Showcase.
Eat banners.